Hi everyone, welcome back to Friday Food is Medicine, and this month we are going to be talking all about kids and kids nutrition. So to help us with these sometimes difficult conversations, we've invited the amazing Kelly van Rooyen, who is a hand-in-hand parenting instructor. So while I'm going to be showing you the what in terms of nutrition, we're going to have Kelly helping us have the conversations around the how. How do we get the participation of kids in nourishing themselves and understanding more about healthy food choices? So we're going to be kickstarting off with a brain power smoothie. And I just wanted to mention that smoothies, whilst they can be very healthy, can also be very high sugar laden. So I wanted to show you just a very easy way to make a smoothie, and I'm going to explain to you why we've got the brain part in there. So why we also want to show you is because we see a lot of, whether it's behavioral issues or concentration difficulties, temper tantrums, a lot of these things stem from nutrition and from my experience, and definitely with my experience with my own children. Sugar can be very neurotoxic and very difficult for a very immature young brain to manage. So we're basically going to show something that you can, as an alternative to sugar-laden cereals that typically kids eat in the morning, nice and convenient, but very high in sugar and not very nutritious. So for something that is a little bit more, to provide a bit more stability for the brain. So I think we're going to kickstart and get going with the actual smoothie. So very simple. I'm going to add in some ice, and this is about half a cup of ice. Half a cup of berries. So the things that make that give berries their color is a high antioxidant, and this is really good for as a brain food. I'm going to add one banana, and before we started, Kelly was telling me she uses frozen cauliflower.
Steamed and then frozen cauliflower.
Steamed and frozen cauliflower.
Basically turns into ice cream. And the kids think it's the best. They don't know it's in there, but they think it's the best.
And they love it. It's amazing. So lots of good nutrition over there, and it's tried and tested with Kelly's boys. So next up is a tablespoon of any nut butter that you want.
So you've got peanut butter here.
Yes.
Are all peanut butters created equal?
So yeah, really good question. Thank you for bringing that up, Kelly. So I always look for a peanut butter that doesn't have any palm oil or any vegetable oil, and definitely no sugar added into the peanut butter. You can also alternate it with any nut butter of choice, whatever you've got on hand. So yeah, I put about a tablespoon. Again, it's to provide the fat and the fiber and a lot of nutrients that the nut butters do provide. The brain is a highly metabolically active organ, and it requires good quality fats to provide that stability for the brain. So that's why the nut butters are so important. Then I'm going to use an almond milk, but sometimes I don't have almond milk, sometimes I don't have any plant-based milk, so I'll use water instead. So I'm going to use about half a cup, and you'll see how smooth or how liquidy or how thick you would want your child likes the smoothie to be.
And with the milk, we wouldn't be using dairy.
No. So I'm a big believer, and I follow the literature in terms of dairy and especially cow's milk as being very inflammatory. There's good studies that show that cow's milk can actually cause neuroinflammation, and yeah, so I really do avoid cow's milk. It is unfermented and does cause inflammation. Can be in the gut, can be in the
I've noticed a big change in my two since coming off cow's milk in terms of their levels of snottiness.
Yes.
When they get a cold or something.
Yeah.
They get over it far more quickly off cow's milk than when they had it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt if I have someone that comes in with repeated upper respiratory tract infections, repeated tonsillitis, ear infections, snotty noses, dairy is very mucus forming, and especially milk. Milk has a lot more of the sugars and the lactose quantities that will create that inflammatory reaction. So, yeah. Okay, next up, cocoa powder. This one's quite important. This is what makes it the chocolate. So kids really, they just want to hear chocolate, especially my kids.
Yes.
So especially in the morning, really, really important. Sugar, no sugar, good quality cocoa powder. And I find that you have to experiment which cocoa powder your kids like. Mine specifically like this particular one. If I change it, they can taste it, so it changes the flavor. So
chocolate connoisseurs.
And then we're going to do two teaspoons of it. So it's quite a bit, so we make it nice and chocolatey for them. That's it. We've done everything. And blitz it up. And that's it. Breakfast is served.
That looks delicious.
For the kids. Well, big kids, little kids, doesn't matter. So my kids like it a little bit more watery. If yours like it, want to eat it with a teaspoon, or you want to add a little bit of fruit on top, then you can do that. So that's our brain power smoothie. So Kelly, I'm going to hand over to you to help us understand more on the how and the transitions to get our kids.
I mean, we look at the color of this. Actually, it's a pretty attractive color, but often it could be maybe a bit brown or green. I know when I put vegetables in my kids' smoothies, it goes a greenish color, and children are put off a little bit by that. So I'm going to talk just a bit on encouraging healthy eating and what we can do as parents. And when it comes down to it, it's actually all about connection. When we connect with our children, their brains can work well. When we connect with our children, they are more likely to try new things, they're more likely to cooperate, they're more likely to just engage in food prep and things like that. So my advice, I've got a few little tips just quickly, is involve your children in the preparation of food, because when they have a sense of place and purpose and involvement in the meal, they're far more likely to try it. And the other nice thing about that is that children don't just eat with their mouths, but it's not just about eating and swallowing. They have to explore foods with their senses a lot more than what we think. And if they have a chance to prepare the food with you, they are already smelling it, they are feeling it, they're probably tasting it. My kids eat a lot of food in the prep, and that almost gives them, they're more likely to want to eat it afterwards. Another great thing to do is, if you can, grow just a couple of veggies and herbs, whether it's a patch in your garden, a pot on your veranda, a pot on your windowsill, and let children see how that happens, because I think there are a lot of children who don't know what happens before they pick it up off the shelf at Woolies or Checkers. And little children, it's quite an abstract concept if they don't see it actually happening. So even if it's just a herb or two, and they can apply it to all plants, they're more likely to try their vegetables, because let's face it, vegetables is the biggest struggle.
Yes.
And then I want to throw the rule book out the window a little bit here with don't play with your food, because play is such a great way of engaging children. Play is the quickest way to connect to them, and if you get playful and engage laughter around meal times, there's no tension. They're relaxed, they're more likely to try, and that's why family dinners are really important, or family lunches. And it's not that you have to do it every single night. Some families can, some families can't. But just a couple times a week to eat a meal with your child, let them see you eating the same food. So often children get dished up a dinner and we eat after they've gone to bed. And children learn through modeling. It's that old saying, do as I say, not as I do. It actually doesn't work that way. They do as we do, they do not do as we say. So we need to be eating the vegetables, we need to be eating the fruit, they need to see us doing it so that they know it's a safe thing to do. It's actually a built-in safety mechanism that they don't. So getting together as a family, chatting around the table, let them dish up their own food. It's our job to provide the food, to have it there, and it's actually their job to choose how much they're going to eat and what to eat. So you just need to make sure there's a lot of healthy food for them, and they will eat something. And give them a chance. When you give them something new, don't expect them to eat it straight away. And if they don't eat it straight away, it's not a failure. Don't just go, okay, cool, they don't like broccoli. Keep putting it on their plates with other things that they like as well. One day they'll pick it up and smell it. That's a success. The next day they might lick it. That's a success. And as it goes, they will eventually eat it. So see it as a bit more of a journey than just them putting it in their mouths and finishing their plate. Also, do not forget that broccoli is dinosaur trees.
And if you dip it in peanut butter, they're actually more likely to taste it.
Oh, that's a good one. And then you're adding fats, which is actually really good for the broccoli.
Yes.
And I don't know about everyone else's kids, but if you make something gross, like ironically, they will try it. So if I make a smoothie that's green, and they're like, what is this? I'll say, this is the finest swamp slime in all the world, and I found it just for you. And then they laugh, and then they'll try. So get playful, get laughter going, and do it as a family. It's really, really helps.
And I think, consistency and just not giving up, but not fighting with kids, just keep on trying.
Try not to have a lot of tension around food. Keep it relaxed.
Yeah, agreed. Thank you for that, Kitty. I think that's great tips. And my favorite photos are the ones always of your kids picking vegetables and half a leaf in their mouth and walking with a stash of whatever they've just picked.
The size of their bodies.
Yes. And absolutely. Participation and let them explore. So thank you guys. Thanks for joining us today, and hope you can experiment with the smoothies. If there's other smoothies that you have made that you found successful with your kids, please share with us so everyone else can try. And good luck. Thank you. Cheers.
Bye.